Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. It is time. It is time for the final fight. Again, because in the last episode, I made the wrong decision and we went into this battle completely unprepared. But now we are prepared because Shirou has had the sheath removed from his body, so Saber has the complete package going for her yet again, which they don't know. They don't know about this. And I'm pretty sure that the sheath was actually used to really disrupt Gilgamesh. So we'll have to see what happens here and how Shirou can survive the mud tentacles or whatever it was that was after him in our first go around here. The summit is bathed in a crimson glow. Wind whips at my face, seeming to come from that red light somewhere at the rear of the temple grounds. The air is heavy with death. Yeah. Okay, so some of this I'm pretty sure that we've already read. So I'm actually going to be taking a guess with the with how much that we've actually seen here. So I'm pretty sure we've read all of this. Like the lake or whatever is the source. So we have to come across Gilgamesh. He's going to be waiting here, and then over at the lake, that is where we will find Kotomine. With oh, here we go. Here we go. A little bit of a different intro here. Gilgamesh stands there, haloed by the vivid red glow. He pays no mind to the blood-red glow or the death-shrouded blackness. The servant armored in gold waits in the middle of the temple grounds for Saber and Saber alone.
頃合いも良い。聖杯もようやく重い腰を上げ、穴が開いたところだ。この呪いこそが聖杯の中身。我らサーバントをこの世に留める第三要素。10年前、お前が俺に浴びせたものだ。
Gilgamesh has eyes only for Saber. Saber is similarly focused on him. She steps forward and points her sword at the knight in front of her.
Gilgamesh, あなたの目的は何だ？あの呪い、聖杯と偽っていたものを使って何を望む？
望みなどないと言っただろう。琴峰が聖杯をどう扱おうと俺は知らん。今のところ。俺の関心はお前だけだ。
Of course. As if to answer, the Golden Knight raises one arm. At the same time, a shimmering haze forms behind him. The king's treasure, hundreds of noble phantasms, are ready to end that haze like bullets loaded into a gun.
はあ、ようやくこの時が来たか。今までずっと考えていたぞ、セイバー。嫌がるお前をどう組み伏せ、あれを飲ませるか。泣きむせぶ顔を踏みつけ、その体を染め抜くほどの泥を飲ませ、もだえ死ぬに耐えきれず俺の足元にすがりつく。その汚れ切った姿をな。
Alright.
よく言った。ならば、その身が同じ末路をたどろうと異論はないな、英雄王。
She takes another step. Saber walks right into range of all of those noble phantasms. This isn't a battle I can help with. No ordinary human could step into this battle between Saber and Gilgamesh.
それでこそセイバーよ。俺には勝てないと知った上でなおその気概。宴の終わりを飾るにふさわしいが。邪魔はいらぬ。
Yeah, I know.
琴峰に用があるのなら早々に消えろ。
We'll go see Kotomine. Go talk with him again. I glance at Saber. She gives a slight nod, her eyes still on Gilgamesh. As I leave, I feel her wishing me luck. Yeah, it didn't work all that well in the first go around with all of this. But yep, let's go. While they get going with their clanging and shit. Let's go find Kotomine in the lake. Which I brought this up in the previous episode, but this seems to be exactly where Castor actually teleported us. I was wondering where we had gone to in that bad ending, but Yep, we just got sent up to where we were planning to go anyways. All right, yep, the lake is not pure. We have the red phosphorescence. See, I can pronounce some long words, guys. I got this. But okay, it looks like we're getting a little bit more of a of an introduction here to the craziness that is this. A hollow chasm yawns in midair, the body of a young girl floating near an offering. Oh, we have the main menu music here. I've been trying to remain calm all this time, but that sight drives me over the edge. I stop and glare at the enemy. That's us. The ends of his lips curl up in a smile, and he spreads his arms in greeting. Our final battle will be fought here. This will be the summoning altar in this Holy Grail War. Yeah, we're definitely getting a way better introduction to all of this. Now that, you know, we're actually in the correct path. We're about 10 meters apart. As soon as I take another step, the battle will begin. I don't know what kind of mage Kotomine is, but he likely uses projectile weapons like Tosaka. On the other hand, my only option is to get close and punch him in the face. Not really going to work out here. Even with Tosaka's dagger concealed behind me, I still need to get close. That's the tough one. Once the battle starts, my only option is to rush him and stab him in the chest. But before that, I need to do something about Ilya. As long as her life lasts, then Ilya is still alive. I don't know what I've read and what I haven't at this point, so we'll just be going along for the ride here. Yeah, sounds familiar. What is he talking about? If that's true, he didn't become a master because he had a wish to fulfill, but instead just so he could open this thing? I grind my teeth and glare at him. He smiles wider. Yeah, he's in it for the entertainment. It's such a simple answer. It either sounds good or it speaks to the heart. Or both, actually. Man, when it's both, goddamn. Why? I've never thought about that sort of thing before.
音楽も物語も愛憎も憐憫も信頼も裏切りも道徳も背徳も幻想も真実もすべて抱きすべき不純物に過ぎぬ。そのようなもの、所詮は残りかすに過ぎぬ二流の娯楽。私が楽しみたいのは人間そのものでな。そのような余分なものなどもはや口に合わん。そのためには営みなどという贅肉はそぎ落とさなければならない。走馬灯というものがあるだろう。それと同じだ。人間は死の瞬間にのみ価値がある。生存という助走距離を持って高く飛び、空に届き尊く輝くもの、その瞬きこそが私の望みだ。
You guys ever go through a JRPG and you're like collecting all of the rare items or the items that are hard to get, like typically to refill your MP or whatever, or like the really big potions and shit, healing supplies, whatever. You're saving them for those final fights, but then you beat the game. You know, you have all that build up and then, you know, for what? You grind and you grind and you grind until the very end.
お前たちが平穏を糧にするように、この身は星の光を食べて生きている。
Seeing the priest give such a sermon, his arms spread wide, is strange to say the least. A chill runs down my back, but not from what he said. Seeing him like that, talking about human beings and seeming somehow sacred, is what's giving me chills.
つまりお前は。
ああ、10年前の火災は悪くなかった。小規模ではあったが、通常ではありえない刺激に満ちていたからな。そう、私が望むものなどその程度だ。あのような地獄にこそ魂の炸裂、人における最高のきらめきがある。それはお前自身も体験したことではないかな、エミヤシロ。どうだ、無念のまま朽ちる人間の叫びは胸に迫るものがあっただろう。
No, because we're normal? Bullshit. That day. How could he ever describe the hell of that day like that?
理解してくれたか。いびつな形ではあるが、私ほど人間を愛している者はいない。故に、私ほど聖杯にふさわしい人間もいまい。
The priest smiles, pleased with himself. Is he saying that he thinks all those people dying helplessly was a wonderful, beautiful thing?
そういうことか。
I focus on my feet. Every muscle in my legs tenses, ready to break into a sprint.
つまり殺していいんだな、てめえ。
Yes, sir. Get his ass. I surge forward as fast as I can. He's a little less than 10 meters away. If I just head straight at him, I can... Yep, here we go. I throw myself sideways. I want to just kill him. But my instincts kick... I did this before, actually. I did this in the last episode. I almost said kink in. No, it's kick in. Come on, Michael. Come on. Saving me from death. No, seriously, guys. Go back to the previous episode when we went through this song and dance. Like, I said the same shit. I go tumbling across the ground, scrambling to look up.
今のは。
I glance back at where I had just been running. The ground is on fire. The dark mud spreading over the lake is steaming. And it's like a dark carpet. The mud coils and lunges at me, snapping like a whip. It leaves a searing welt on the ground.
言い忘れていたが、すでにお前は私の射程に入っている。加えてこれは生き物に敏感でな。動き回るのは勝手だが、不用意に動くと死ぬぞ。
As we saw in the last episode, I leap out of the way of the black mud as it strikes at me once again. To hell with darting around blindly. This bastard's intent on killing me.
このエセ新聞。
I reposition myself, keeping an eye on the lake. I'm no closer to Kotomine. Looks like he's gonna keep me 10 meters away. That muddy tentacle seems to be able to stretch endlessly. It follows no matter how far I retreat, and it's not the only one.
こうやる気か。それは喜ばしい。このまま立ち去るのなら殺しようがなかったが、お前本人が争うのであれば問題はない。何しろこれでも神に仕える身だ。助けを求める者を殺めるわけにもいかなくてな。
Uh-huh.
よく言う。人を背中から襲ったやつがな、そんな言葉を吐くんじゃない。
He's probably remembering what happened with Lancer when I said that. Or when I say that, Kotomine laughs as if impressed.
そうだったな。お前にはあれで愛想が尽きていた。これ以上先延ばしにする必要はない。正直に言うとな、エミヤシロ。私はお前に期待していたのだ。リンがお前を教会に導い
The
たよ。
hand of fate?
運命すら
Did you
感
just
じ
say
た。
fate?
お前があの男の息子と分かり、内面まで似通っていると知った時の喜びなど分かるまい。10年前に叶わなかった望み。エミヤ・キリツグという男に、こうしてもう一度引導を渡せるとは思わなかった。
You know, not to get completely off topic here, but I think I fully understand the naming convention of this title. The Hand of Fate. It was fate, you know? Us and the antagonist. And then stay. We stayed in the war. And then night. All of the fights happen at night. The tentacle twist toward... Don't take that seriously, by the way, guys. Please don't. I'm just being stupid. It looms over the lake, its sickle-shaped head like a dark serpent. I bite my lip. I'm in about the worst possible situation here. More and more tentacles emerge from the lake. I'm not sure how much longer I can even survive, to say nothing of getting near Kotomine.
勝機がないのは当然だ。お前の生きた年数と私の生きた年数では大きく開きがある。何かで掛け算でもしない限り埋められる差ではあるまい。
Yeah, we literally came into this fight yet again with no weapon. I'm just gonna throw that one out there. The priest raises his hands. He stares at the heavens like a conductor leading an orchestra.
命をかけろ。あるいはこの身に届くかもしれん。
The serpents surge forward. Oh boy. Are we jumping over to Saber's fight? Yep, we are. Wow. Sparks fly in all directions, as do swords. The Golden Knight steps back, evading a series of savage attacks executed with astonishing skill. She must have seen it as an opening. Saber twists away from a short sword fired at her and takes a step forward toward her enemy, excuse me. Her shout tears through space. Her sword strikes like a comet. She presses the attack on the Golden Knight. He stumbles backward, overwhelmed by her skill and ferocity. Her sword dances. So titanic is the strength behind her every blow, each could shatter boulders, smash down the walls of even the most impregnable fortress. And yet... the myriad deadly weapons appearing from behind her enemy turn aside every strike.
Hey.
Gilgamesh slips back from the onslaught, another sword in his hand. It's easy enough for her to repel his strikes, but she can't meet his attacks directly. Each of the enemy's weapons has abilities she simply does not know. Being struck by a weapon and not knowing what it might do is suicide. Saber steps away from her cornered enemy to compose herself. Gilgamesh, on the other hand, is not at all troubled and picks himself up.
懲りぬ女よ。何度やっても無駄だとわからぬか?
Gilgamesh shows no sign of fatigue. To him, this battle is merely a bit of entertainment. He can't very well feel nervous or tired when he knows with perfect certainty that he will win. It is another matter entirely for Saber. She knows that her only shot at victory is now, before her enemy starts taking this seriously. She needs to defeat Gilgamesh before he can use Aya, or she will lose. And so, even knowing that it may be impossible, she does not relent in her onslaught, giving no thought to her own stamina. This isn't the first time that she's cornered her enemy, or the second, but she's never been able to break through this or through his wall of noble phantasms.
まだ続けるのか。主に忠誠を誓うのはいいが、それも限度があろう。今頃あの雑種は琴峰に殺されている。もはや、お前。
私の主は健在だ。あのようなマスター相手に、シロウが膝をくするなどありえない。
それも時間の問題だ。お前は聖杯を知らぬ。あれの相手は俺でも手こずるのだぞ。
Oh, we'll see about that. We will see about that this time around.
お前は俺には勝てぬし、あやつでは琴峰に勝てん。配役を誤ったな。お前が聖杯に挑んでいれば、この戦いはお前の勝利だったろうに。
There is no amusement in the Golden Knight's eyes. He's serious. But that's wrong. To Saber, the choice itself was a mistake.
まさか。これが正しい選択だ。私は貴様になど負けぬし、シロウはあのような死者には負けない。まだ出てもいない結果を期待するとは、英雄王の名も地に落ちたというものだ。
ほう。減らず口を言うだけの体力は残っていたか。
The air around Gilgamesh twists and distorts. Hello, weapons. More and more noble phantasms appear behind him.
来るか。
She adjusts her grip on her sacred sword. In truth, there is a way. There's only one way to defeat that Golden Knight.
だがそれには。
For her plan to succeed, certain conditions must be met. Even if she takes out Ea, he will still be able to defend against her attack if he has any energy left. She would also have to take Ea's attack head-on again to be sure whether it's even possible to defeat.
エアを受ける。まさか。いかに鞘が戻ろうと、あれを受けては立ち上がれない。
But there is no other way to win. It is just a matter of how to spin that thin thread of hope into real victory. Normally, her intuition would show her the best route, and she would act in accordance with what she sees. But that intuition is no help now. Perhaps her chances for victory are so slim that her intuition can't show her the path. But she still has to fight. She has to keep fighting for Shirou, who surrendered his own defense by returning the sheath to her. She cannot let this man defeat her.
そうか。どうやら決定的な敗北でなければ納得がいかぬと見える。
Even more weapons appear behind Gilgamesh. Every single one aims towards Saber, moving without Gilgamesh even touching them. Before, only the hilts were visible, but now the blades emerge, awaiting their master's command. This is the way knights should fight. Gilgamesh was never a swordsman. His many noble phantasms are deployed within time and space, and become bullets under their master's command. This is why he is an archer. He is the strongest in that regard.
うまく避けろ。なーに。運が良ければ、手足を串刺す程度であろう。
Oh, here we go. With a single command, a rain of swords descends on her with godlike speed. Each of them possesses its own special fatal power. Wowza. She evades every single one as if gracefully slipping between falling leaves. A sword from the front, a spear from the left, polearms from above and below, a three-pronged sword seeping at her in an arc. A hammer larger even than her streaks toward her like a meteor. That threw me off for a minute. She blocks, parries, dodges, and then twists away from the final attack. Saber's breathing is labored, and she struggles to regain her ground after being put on the back foot. At that moment, she sees something behind her enemy. Behind Gilgamesh, 47 noble phantasms are already deployed, all at the ready. That's a ridiculous amount of power that he's just, throwing out. She leaps with all her might. As if to prevent her from escaping, a flurry of noble phantasms races toward her, tearing up the earth. Oh, lovely. A torrent of noble phantasms slams into the ground one after another. Her armor is shattered, her gauntlet is split open, and even her greaves are impaled. Saber manages to avoid sustaining any fatal wounds, but in that moment, she sees something even worse. Beyond the rain of noble phantasms, as if to finish off his exhausted prey, the King of Heroes draws his favorite sword. Yep, there it is. Saber lets gravity carry her back to the ground. She lands hard and immediately pours magical energy into her sword. But she isn't sure that she can make it in time. The wind howls, the blade of light emerges, and she raises her sword without waiting for the wind to finish unraveling. Well, this didn't work last time. She doesn't bother deflecting the rain of noble phantasms. She simply swings her sacred sword with all of her might and all the swiftness that she can muster. She's too late. Gilgamesh sweeps his other noble phantasms aside and swings Aya. Come on, Sheath. Let's go, Sheath. Oh, I guess we're back to this fight. I try to kick away the mud clinging to my ankles. My clothes are burnt and my skin is exposed. I jump away from the lunging tentacle. I can't feel my mud-coated right ankle, and I wasn't entirely sure I even still had my right leg until I used it to leap away. Yeah, we've been at this part of the song and dance before. I check my body while I roll. Ankle? Okay, yeah, it's still there. I just can't feel it. If it's more or less intact, I can still probably run. I jump in another direction to avoid the mud's relentless attacks. Beside me, I hear a splash. The scent of burning earth wakes my dizzy head, and I push myself back up to my feet. A burning sensation sears its way down my back. I shake it off and jump to the closest clear ground. The mud's pursuit relents. I can no longer see any of the black mud that surrounded me. I bite my lip. I dodged and ran all over the place, but in the end, I'm right back here. I calm my breathing and look up at him to at least show that he hasn't broken my spirit. Kotomine has not moved at all. He's just watched me running around. No matter how many deep breaths I take, my heart won't stop pounding. It's warning me that it's at its limit. It needs rest. My heart is ready to burst if I don't rest. That's how rapidly it's thumping in my chest. It's all but jumping out of my mouth at this point. I can't do anything. I can't get near Kotomine, and I can't stop that black mud. There's not enough time for me to hold back about using projection. It's my only hope. Then why didn't you use it before we actually got in range? If there's no way forward, I just have to project Saber's sword again. And it should be able to cut through that black mud and give me a chance to rush Kotomine.
なんだそれで終わりか
Yeah, it didn't really work last time. The moment he speaks, a tidal wave of mud crashes over me. I look up just in time to dodge. The mud itself isn't bad. It's slow compared to Saber's strikes when we sparred, and it doesn't change direction, so it's easy to dodge. But that only applies when there's just one tentacle. I can't handle multiple attacks at once or those that strike from behind as soon as I've dodged another. As a result, I can only move around, and still, mud slowly covers me. Well, things seem to be going the same way they did last time. There's no time to rest. I'm not going to be able to use my projection. Projection requires me to form an image of a weapon from the very beginning, so I need at least a full minute of concentration. But if I give Kotomine an opening like that, the only thing left of me will be smoking bones. And we can't have that. Everywhere the mud touches me, I go numb. At least it's not painful, but if that mud covers my entire body, I might not even know whether I'm dead or alive. If that happens, I'm a goner. I'd melt away, bones and all. I can only run. I know it's only a matter of time until I run out of steam, but I have to keep running for now. I have no chance of reaching Kotomine while all I'm doing is avoiding the mud. The mud pours like a waterfall behind him, so trying that way isn't an option either. If I'm going to have any chance of getting near him, I have to do something about this mud. Hello, sweet death. I can't believe it. I picked now of all times to trip. Kotomine stares down at me as if I were a piece of trash. He points a finger at me and several snake heads rear up from the lake. Get up. I try to get up, but fall again. I fall. I fall. The snakes pursue me. But I still fall. Why? 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 Black mud splashes over the back of my neck. Why? Now that I look closer, my right leg is entirely black. I think that's where we got the bad ending last time.
少しは楽しめると期待したが、所詮はキリツグの息子。つくづく益にならぬ連中だ。
I want to say that yes, it was a bad ending because we died here, but I want to say that we're going to get rescued by Saber because in the other go-around, she was unable to defeat Gilgamesh. I think that was implied, now that we're actually seeing the progress of that fight. I look up. I'm still conscious. My wrists and neck are bound in chains of mud, but I can still feel my body.
なんでとどめを刺さない。
無論、すぐ終わらせるとも。だがそれでは芸がなかろう。お前はキリツグの贋作だからな。
My skin burns where the mud touches it. It feels like acid is seeping from my pores. I grit my teeth, trying to endure the pain, and check my right leg. It's completely black. I can't feel it and it won't move. Excuse me, I need to get either this mud out of me or pour magical energy through the affected areas to push out the coagulated blood. Either way, the moment I try to move my right leg, it'll probably tear off every muscle in it.
そうかよ。そりゃ構わないが、お前なんだってそこまでキリツグを目の敵にするんだ。キリツグに聖杯を壊されたことがよっぽど悔しかったのか。
I feel like it was really more so that Kiritsugu was able to foil whatever Kotomine's underhanded plans were.
何？近親憎悪というやつだ。私とキリツグは似ていたからな。奴の行為は全てが勘に触ったよ。
ふざけるな！キリツグとお前が似ているなんて間違っても口にするな！
なるほど。お前にとってはそうだろう。何しろ奴は私を見逃すほどの善人だったからな。あの大火災を引き起こした私を倒しただけで命までは取らなかった。それが間違いだったことをお前は知っているはずだ。
Yeah, I was gonna say.
キリツグさえ私を殺しておけば、あの孤児たちは穏やかな日常を送れたのだろうからな。反論できまい。だが私にとってもそれは不快な事実だった。あれほど冷酷な魔術師だった男が敵を助けたという事実こそが不快だった。
It's crazy. Yeah, if only he killed me, I wouldn't have had to torture all those kids. That story again. Saber told me before that Kiritsugu was a first-class mage, and he would do anything to accomplish his goals. But then...
だが、奴の過ちはそんなことではない。奴が犯した過ちはな、 聖杯を壊しただけでこの戦いが終わったと思い込んだことだ。故に奴はお前に何も伝えず、聖杯戦争は終わったのだと楽観し、この呪いに侵されたまま人生を終えた。道家といえば道家だな。奴は自身を呪った私を見逃し、その果てに数年足らずで命を落とした。自分はことを成したと、聖杯戦争を終わらせたのだと、勘違いの達成感を得たままでな。
I mean, unless there really is more to it. Hold on. Does that mean Kiritsugu died because of Kotomine? That's sort of what I'm getting. In a wicked way, I mean, we've kind of gotten an idea that the Holy Grail is not really what we thought it was at all. It is actually a curse wrapped up with a bow, probably, but yeah, at the end of the day, an actual curse. What it does to the people around it, but also what it could probably do to the people that rely on it. What did the peaceful face he had on the night of his death mean?
そうだ。最後に聞いておこう。キリツグの最後はどうだったのだ、エミヤシロ。息子であるお前に後を託し、何やら満足していったわけか。
What a lovely thing for a priest to ask us.
なんという道家ぶりだ。何一つとしてなせず、息子であるお前に責任を押し付け、さぞ滑稽に消えたのであろうな。
てめえ!
I kick at the ground. I force my leg to move, flooding it with magical energy. Muscles tear, but I ignore it as I lunge forward on all fours like a wild animal.
そうだ。その程度の気概がなくては話にならん。
Kotomine holds his hand over the waterfall behind him. I don't know what he's thinking. That cascade of mud is a curse so dense it can be seen. It would be fair to call it a mass of magical energy meant only to destroy people. There's no room to modify it, to change its shape. Anyone who touches that mud will be contaminated by its potent curse, and then dissolve, as if the stuff were digesting them. Which means the pain and fear felt in those dying moments lingers as magical energy, becoming the next curse to seek out the living. Whoever touches that stuff will die. Any who touch it will die unless they can get the mud out of themselves. Even so, the priest sticks his hand into the waterfall, smiling.
褒美だ。キリツグと同じ末路をたどれ。
He fills his hand with darkness. I know instinctively that this will be different than before. A flash of light illuminates the world. The moment I realize it's the light of Saber's noble phantasm. Is it with the sheath? Hey, yo. The priest's words plunge the world into darkness. What's going on? Okay, back over here. She had been blinded by light a moment ago, but now she's cast into darkness. If she had been conscious, she would have seen that it was a black polar light. The darkness was momentary, but it was not darkness. It was a swarm of tiny curses. The darkness sweeps her body away, and the discomfort jolts her to wakefulness. I sigh. The first thing her returning consciousness brings her is pain. Whatever parts of her were not protected by her armor are horribly burned, and her flesh has been brutally savaged by blades of all sorts. She is a dismal sight. Aya defeated her. Gilgamesh unleashed his noble phantasms, and she could not defend against so many, and then Aya struck her. She barely managed to deflect it with Excalibur, but the damage to her body was too severe. Her wounds heal on their own without using magical energy, but even the protection of the sacred sword sheath is unable to return her to full health in an instant. And then...
ここまでだ、セイバー。よもやその体で、まだ敗北を認めぬなどと言わぬだろうな。
Gilgamesh walks forward, not a scratch on his armor. Saber lays on the ground looking up at her enemy. There's nothing she can do right now. Nothing can stop him from doing whatever he likes with her.
Gilgamesh, 今の光は。
Despite the situation, Saber is more concerned about the light. That flash of light. That deep darkness that welled up from the far side of the temple and for a moment covered the world itself. She doesn't want to think about it, but that darkness might have been aimed at Shirou.
今の光か。お前ならばわかろう。琴峰が聖杯から直接呼び出したのだろうな。聖杯の中には、この世のすべてを呪うなどというものがあるのだそうだ。
Well, there we go.
先ほどから見えているあのオダクはな、聖杯から漏れている残りカスに過ぎん。その本体を出されたのだ。お前のマスターとて、もはやこの世にはおるまい。
Nah, not this time.
そんな。
He's alive
そん
somehow.
なことは。
Saber wills her body to move. But she knows she can't. She can't just lay down though.
嘘だ。シローは生きている。まだちゃんと。
She can still feel her connection with her master. It's weak, like the faint embers of a fire on the verge of going out, but Shirou is alive. She has to keep going. If he fights something unheard of or incomprehensible, Shirou will be no match for it. Yeah, somehow, always. Saber clings to that faint warmth and again wills herself to move. But it's useless. Even the sacred sword's sheath needs a few more minutes to restore her.
もはや手遅れだ。おとなしくしていろよ、セイバー。お前が何をしようが次期聖杯は溢れ出す。10年前の再来だ。ただし、こたびの義は、俺ではなく、お前に与えられたものだがな。
The Golden Knight smiles as he turns his gaze up to the burning red sky.
喜べ、セイバー。あれを浴びれば、お前も俺と同じになれる。この世で肉を持ち、第二の生を謳歌できよう。まあもっとも、俺のように自我を保てるとは限らんが。
That's what you're referring to as sanity? Saber looks up at him, bewildered. She can sense the immensity of the curse. It's a magnificent cluster of magical energy with so much power, any magecraft would be possible. Or caster to wield it, the possibilities would be endless. But it's a double-edged sword. It curses humans and only humans. Even heroic spirits would not be able to remain themselves after coming into contact with that curse. And it spilled onto him, remember? He even declared it. That's when she realizes, Gilgamesh. A decade ago, that corruption even swallowed up the most ancient king of heroes. Then...
ギルガメッシュ。あなたは。
He's gone mad.
ほう、そう思うか、騎士よ。
Gilgamesh looks down at Saber, laughing merrily. It's strangely out of character for him, but the look seems somehow appropriate.
侮るな。あの程度の呪い、飲み干せなくて何が英雄か。この世すべての悪？はっ、俺を染めたければ、その3倍は持ってこい。良いか、セイバー。英雄とはな、己が視界に入るすべての人間を背負うもの。この世のすべてなぞ、とうの昔に背負っている。
Hearing those words, Saber gasps. She knows in that moment that she will never understand this heroic spirit. His unthinkable arrogance, the staggering ego leading him to believe heaven and earth exist only for him. His ruthless choices that bear no regard for any but himself. All of these things are completely opposite to her own beliefs of what it is to be a king. But he was a king. Even Saber cannot deny that. No other servant than Gilgamesh could have retained their sense of self after being bathed in that immensely powerful curse.
そうだな。泥を飲ませるのはいいが、それで自我を失われては楽しみがない。どれ、今のうちに婚姻を決めておくか?
I have to say, I do like the approach that they're going for here because, you know, he just comes off as like an arrogant, overpowered asshole. But really what we have going on here is somebody that actually has kind of lost their mind. Somebody that actually probably had, you know, some logical thought at times back in the previous war even. But it's so subtle that, yeah, there seems to be pretty obvious, like, conflicts in his, and what he's arguing versus what Saber would argue. That's fascinating. I like that.
ギルガメッシュ、貴様。
なんだ、手荒く扱われるのは趣味ではないか？ならば慣れておけ。女と食事に出し惜しみはしない主義でな。気の向くままに奪い、食らうだけだ。
Saber glares up at Gilgamesh as she hangs upside down.
サーバントとしてマスターに義理を立てているわけか。くだらんな。たかが霊樹の縛りでこの体をくれてやっていたとは。
それは違う。勘違いをするな、ギルガメッシュ。私は誰にも従わない。初めからこの体にそんな自由はないのだ。
ほう。ではどうあっても俺のものにはならないというのか。
His red eyes rake over Saber. They are entirely devoid of human emotion. If she disobeys, he will kill her. No matter how attached he may be to something, if it does not obey him, he will simply destroy it. That is simply how Gilgamesh sees the world. Saber doesn't look away. She simply glares hatefully at Gilgamesh.
ギルガメッシュ、私は誰のものにもならない。私はすでに国のものだ。この身は女である前に王なのだから。
She's not saying this to anyone in particular. She's simply expressing the tiny warmth still within her heart.
何を言うかと思えば。笑わせるな、セイバー。王にとって国とは己のものに過ぎない。何もかも支配できぬのならば王などという超越者は不要なのだ。まったく。アーサー王よ。そんなだからお前は国によって滅ぼされたのだ。
The Golden Knight mocks her for her naivety. Her heart is set now.
ああ、その通りだ。だが英雄王よ。そんなだから、貴様は自らの国を滅ぼしたのだ。
Oh boy. Such fierce spirit. Saber twists her entire body, using the leverage to kick Gilgamesh in the face with her free leg. Gilgamesh releases her. Saber stretches her arms out and arrests her fall, then springs upward.
男子を足毛に。おのれ。どうやら本格的にしつけられたいらしいな。セイバー！
She closes her eyes and looks within herself. It is no wonder your own country turned on you. It's not news to her. Since her summoning as a saber, she's been hearing those words over and over. It's different with him. He grew angry with her, as if it had been about him, but he also thought her actions were worthy of pride. She knows what she must do. Even if she has no hope of victory, she cannot stop here. She needs to do something while she can still feel that warmth inside her. She has to get to her master as fast as she can. She's about 8 meters from Gilgamesh. She positions herself at the ideal distance for intercepting an attack, which she's just experienced firsthand. Her body won't move the way she wants. She can barely grip her sword, and her legs are hardly able to bear her weight. Even a weak blow would be too much for her now. But she knows neither weakness nor hesitation. Even Gilgamesh feels he has to prepare himself. The Golden Knight readies Aya, his eyes on his opponent. I don't know. I mean, Saber's definitely a little not bright. You know, either is Shirou, either is this guy. You know, there's a lot of stupidity or arrogance to be had all around in different ways, but I think he does have to take the cake here. He may be all-powerful, but that could be his undoing here. Saber doesn't answer, but her determination is there to see in her eyes.
よかろう。ならば加減はなしだ。
The air itself roars. Ea, the sword of rupture from ancient Mesopotamia, there we go, is said to have divided heaven and earth to create the world. Gilgamesh, the king of heroes, readies his supreme sword to finally put an end to his enemy. The atmospheric vortex it creates, the sheer quantity of converging magical energy, far exceeds Saber's Excalibur.
消えろ。目障りだ女。
Honestly, she should just throw the sheath at him. Gilgamesh raises his sword. Saber mirrors the movement in perfect synchronization. She has to do something different here, or else it's just second verse, same as the first. Their eyes meet for an instant. Gilgamesh flourishes his sword. The Saber's sword falls to the ground, useless. She lacks the strength to activate her noble phantasm. The light, which can sever all things, bursts through her. Unable to do anything, she is swallowed up by the light. Okay. Okay, so they're both really in fuck situations here. The moment I'm engulfed in darkness, hell itself is imprinted on my mind. The 5 starting penalties: life, body, imprisonment, humiliation, and finance. Let the myriad sins, mud, darkness, and malice continue to surround and punish all. Eliminate human rights through decapitation, exile, and repression. Let the body descend into a state of torment and debauchery. I completely said that wrong. Debauchery, there we go. Eliminate group consensus by forfeiting honor. Die? Goddamn. Ridicule through greed and arbitrary decisions that freeze assets and property. Imprisonment, fines, the death penalty, crimes committed in the name of personal grudges, crimes committed to satisfy selfish desires, crimes committed unconsciously, crimes proclaiming self-consciousness, civil disturbance, solicitation, fraud, theft, robbery, kidnapping, self-harm, violence, arson, bombing, infringement, manslaughter, group violence, professional negligence, overconfidence. Accidents. Accidents by intoxication. Cover-ups. Crimes for personal gain. Crimes committed in the name of the ego. Crimes committed in the name of love. Crimes committed in the name of virtue. Crimes committed for themselves. Theft and embezzlement. Fraudulent cover-ups. Contraband. All right, I kind of get it. Know your conscience to rectify your sins. Know the penalty of your sins. Herein lies the goodness of man, so plentiful that he is unaware of the totality of what he is exposed to. Know the violence used to cover up the crime. Know the authority that hides the crime. The malignancy of man is here, so rare and so hard to find that it stands out in sharp relief. 100 benign, 1 malignant. To balance it out, the malignant shines strong and reigns as a mighty and vicious evil to compete with the benign masses, the 5 starting penalties. For you, oh, okay. All right. Solicitation, fraud, theft, robbery, kidnapping, self-harm, tyranny, arson, infringement, dirty, dirty, dirty. You're all dirty. Atone, atone, atone. Violence, crimes, victims, atone, atone, die to atone. All right. Whoa. Some epileptic shit going on here, honestly. My brain's going to explode. The mud eating away at my body does not peel off. It mercilessly robs me of my warmth. I feel the horrible curse crushing all of my senses, crushing me. Darkness I can't look at directly. Ugliness I can't acknowledge. Crimes I want to run from. All man's sins. I'm going to die. Anyone caught in this darkness wouldn't be able to resist letting it devour them just from the sheer pain and disgust. But Kotomine said it once. And this curse is what killed Kiritsugu. And that's enough to banish the darkness. Whoa. Heat returns to my body. Blood rushes through me, wounded as I am, and helps me get back to my feet. And why not? I mean, Kiritsugu Emiya shouldered all of this for years. Did he die, his own wishes unfulfilled, because those voices never stopped screaming at him to atone? He said he wanted to be a champion of justice. He ran around like an idiot trying to be useful to someone, and in the end, nobody let him do what he wanted to do. Even so, he still pursued something, the ideals he had given up on. And then in the end, the words of some silly kid lifted a burden from him, and he finally let himself believe that everything would be okay. I have to stand up. I said I was going to take his place and carry on his dream. If I really am the son of Kiritsugu Emiya, the champion of justice, I can't let the bad guy beat me. Tosaka told me, I need to win even if it kills me. Saber told me, Kotomine is the enemy I have to defeat. Even Kotomine said, if I'm going to fight, I should put my life on the line. He did say that. And that's right. What can I put on the line here, if not my life? I don't have anything else to offer anyway. All right, we're back, baby. I desperately leap out of the mass of black mud. I can hear his surprise. All right, we're back in action. And we'll check out the rest of this fight in the next episode. Yeehaw. All right. I guess the two fights that are going on here, I'd like to assume that we are pretty well into them at this point. I have no idea how much more there is to them, and I'm sure that would be it for this route. Not entirely sure, but we'll see how the rest of this or the rest of these fights go in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.